Okay, so let's look at chart 474 here. We made some important notes. Over here, the high E string becomes the inverse bottom guitar string shape with the open on the third. So what we're looking at here, now this is the inverse. This is the mirror image of the guitar P4 tuning. It's not guitar regular tuning. It's not. It's okay. Now this is also down C tuned. So I've been blessed by down C tuning my guitar, and as you can see with the notes on it, yeah, it's not just tuned for today. These notes are permanently on there until they come off. They all come off. It'd be nice to get lights on there and be able to change the tuning and all that stuff. But that's a different problem, isn't it? And I really love music, and I like to get the notes on there. So they're on there with the sticky notes from the printer, the vinyl sticky back with the lamination now. So what I do is we double laminate them. I take 2 copies of the same note map, and I put them back to back, or back to back, which is the peel off part, and then they laminate the whole thing. Then we cut it out and it peels off, and then we got top lamination on both sides. That has nothing to do with the P4 P5 problem. And by the way, there are some problems with the guitar that sound like one problem has to do with another. So let's talk about those 2 problems. We have with the CAGED system now, with the cello fiddle guitar, implementing the CAGED system on the cello fiddle guitar tuning, the 5-string fiddle tuning, we have 2 things to worry about. One is we're down C tuned. We're pretty much down C tuned because we have C, G, D, A, and E. So it's like a guitar that's down C tuned. So what are the problems with down C tuning is we have an E-shaped C down here. So if you want to talk about the CAGED system with a down C tuned guitar, you're really starting with E, then D, then we finally get up to C here, right? So that's one problem, okay? There are other problems. I'll mention it if we do hit on, I'm going to say the word if now, if we do hit on that on the lesson, which I know I promised something last lesson and we didn't get to it. So I'm going to say if we hit on it. The purpose of this chart, why I made this chart, remember these are all open positions. So you'll see these note indicators here indicating these are open positions on the P5 cello fiddle violin tuning. And with these notes circled here, I wanted to see, so I went to the internet and I looked and, just asked the internet, ask a silly question, get a silly answer. How do you play chords on cello? How do you play chords on fiddle? So these were the circled notes. Now I went right for the 5 when I was playing it. That's why I made this chart. And then we have the relative minor, which is just change the 5 with the 6 in the same position. Remember, this is P5 ED, or E position here. This could actually go away. This part of it, I just listed the whole thing for, because I was in a hurry and I wanted to see it. And also I want to have the option to play that pentatonically. When we look at that, we could play that pentatonically. And here the circle is just what you would play. Oh, they're not even playing this bottom string. This one website that happened to, say, here's how you play the chords, There's a million of them out there that'll tell you how to play a chord. Any teacher, you ask them, how do I play a chord on fiddle or violin? Well, you can't, but I mean, what are the notes? What are the notes? So you'll see with fiddle violin, you'll see a lot of crossing out of strings because, first of all, fiddle and violin are only 4 strings each. Okay, so they like to definitely play only these little action fingers here, and action fingers would be up here also. So that's where you actually put your finger. So that would be a play note. Sorry, that I circled that. It's a play note. It's an open note. You see, like the 0 for open. But really, here's really action fingers. You wouldn't play that unless you moved it up on the bar. And oh yes, we're going to be moving it up on the bar. So that would be 6th Street and root. So we'd be looking at an A minor in the key of C there. Okay. Really, it does have a minor sound to it. It's probably a little bit out of tune today. It's cold and it's kind of damp, and it's going to snow this weekend. But that bottom string, I would play that. Sorry, my guitar is kind of out of tune today, but I think we're going to focus on the theory here anyway. Okay, moving right along. So we're going to zoom out and realize that if we look at these, we're zoomed back in there. The high E string becomes the inverse bottom guitar string shape. So now we're not building it from this, although we can call this the root position kind of thing. Alright? Let's look at the A position. No need to capo. We're changing the key now. The upper E string note becomes the 5th. So there, we're going off of that 5 there, even though that's a no play note and action fingers. Okay? We'll get to playing these on the next chart, or the other chart I'm talking about, because they were mixed up. I worked on the one before this morning, or this one I actually finished up. So here we're going off of a caged system. As you know, with caged, you might start with root on the E, but in this case this E is down C tuned. So root on the E. And we go to the second, we're going to build a D-shaped C right there. So remember, caged can do two different things. Okay, then we go to the third, we're going to build a C-shaped C. And the fifth, we're going to build an A-shaped C. And the sixth, we're going to build a G-shaped C. Okay, and then another E-shaped C at octave. Alright, so caged can go up the neck, but caged can also, it can also just stay in one place and then go into different keys. So it'd be key of C, key of A, that's an A right there, a real deal A. G, E, and D. So caged can do two things. And we do the same thing with the P5 tuning. So, like my cough is coming back because I want to talk, right? And it's dusty in here. I'm probably kicking up some dust in the guitar. You know, a little guitar tar in the air or something. So, in this depiction, we have each shape and its relative minor. So let's talk about those keys. So if this is the open on P5, we'll have an A major shape here, and then we'll have an F sharp minor as its 6th. So we just move this 5 note to the 6th, don't play the 5, and we have its relative minor. The good thing about this particular diagram is that we're in A major here. Here's the G string, up a whole step is the A. Over here root is root, that's the C. So we're in C major there. So this is an honest chart that gives you just a straight out caged. But the important thing that I realized was that the upper string becomes the old G string here, or the old caged string.